you can put in it?
Yeah, you can set up a timetable, and then there's also, let me just bring this up here, but it had the whole list of different sites you could live stream to. Let me just bring it up here quickly. Okay, working on your live stream. Okay, update settings for YouTube. But when I set this up, it had a bunch of other ones that you could studio mode. Shoot, I gotta go through it again. But let me stop the stream. I don't need to be streaming right now. Oh, come on, get out of there.
I've got my stream up.
Yeah, when I set this up, it just, you know how when you say you want to send something, a picture or whatever, say off. Let's see now. Let me think here. Oh, darn it. I can't find it now, but anyhow. So, what was going on this morning? I wasn't on, but I watched the video, and I don't think you were interfering with those other guys down, whatever the heck they were called. What were they called? On 55. I think it was the other guys that were interfering with them, wasn't it?
So, we were on 7260. E-Cars was on 7255. Everyone was minding their own business. We were on 7260 for almost an hour. We were 4K wide. And all of a sudden, so as in Mike, M-Cars fired up on 7258. And they didn't come up to 7260 and say, hey guys, we're starting a net. So they were right on top of E-Cars, which the whole thing is ridiculous. But they were in our band pass, and even if we were 3K, they'd be in our band pass. And like I said in the video, even if we were 2K, they would be in our band pass. So Art went down there, I went down there, Paul went down there. And they pulled the same old crap they always pull. They said, we're splattering on them. They're M-Cars. They've been there for 40 years, blah, blah, blah. You know, the same old story. The same old story. So we hung out there and just stayed on 7258 and had our QSO there. Then we moved back to 7260. And then I got the email that I posted on Signal. The guy commented, he called me so I stopped recording the video because I was done. And then like 5-10 minutes later, one of the guys pops in and starts telling me that I'm splattering, blah, 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 blah. So then he comments on the YouTube video that I edited the video and I edited him out. I wasn't recording at that time. These guys are like, they're out of control. It's very liberal oriented. Where, you know, like if you show a liberal somebody cheating in an election, they'll say, what are you showing me? I don't see cheating. Same thing.
Oh, I keep saying that. Liberalism is a mental disorder. These people are really, really mental. They cannot see the truth if it hit them square in the face.
We told them the only people that have authority over a frequency is someone in an emergency or the operator trying to help somebody in an emergency. Just because you say you are a net that handles emergency traffic doesn't mean you own the frequency if there is no emergency. It's all they're doing is rag chewing, just like we're doing. They give the weather report. They talk about their COVID vaccine. They say they went and got their RSV vaccine and their Shingrix vaccine, and that's all they do. So the only people that can impede on a band pass is somebody in an emergency or someone helping the person in the emergency. It's like I'm mind blown. And the guy who emailed me, I think he's a little older than you, DJ, and I just don't understand what got lost along the way. I've been doing this 30 years. I don't know how long you've actually been licensed. I'm assuming longer than me. One of the first things you learn is you check if the frequency's in use. And just because you're 2 kcs away doesn't mean the frequency's not in use. You have to look at your bandpass and your spectrum. But the problem is these guys are on FT 950s and they can't see that.
Yeah, I've been licensed 11 years. March of 27 of 20. Good grief, 2012. March 27th of 2012. Now, mind you, Doug, I tried back almost 40 years ago. I had my 10 words a minute code, and I had the rules and regulations, but I didn't pass the theory part. So I'm 11 years now. But yeah, and like Art said when I was listening to the stream there. All they had to do was someone come, hey guys, we kind of have a net here or whatever. Would you guys be willing to move up or whatever the case may be? Just ask, and that's all they have to do. But yeah, I think that's the gentleman thing to do. And anytime I've gone to 40 from 99, 999 there, I'll ask 3-4 times, is this frequency in use? Is this frequency in use? And then I'll tune the amp and ask again with power, is this frequency in use? And I've had guys say, yes, we're going to be having something here shortly, or yeah, my buddy's just stepped away. I said, hey, fine, no problem, I'll move. And he said, well, I really appreciate it. I said, well, that's why I asked. So, it's gentlemanly but if I just come in there and just start calling CQ or waiting for you guys to show up and say, hey, I've got this frequency for us now, that's not the right thing to do. So anyhow, you're right with what they have for radios. And when you listen to some of these guys, they're so pinched up that you'd think they got tight underwear on because that's how their audio sounds. And interesting. VA3 KBC.
Yeah, and how many mornings have we been on when they come on, a nice guy comes on and says, hey guys, I know you're here. We normally meet 2 kcs below you. The net's gonna start in 30 minutes. Do you guys mind moving if you're still on frequency? We never give them a problem, okay? The only time they get a problem is when they do what they did today, or they directly come on our frequency and start calling call signs. That's the only time we've ever given an issue. And what really got us is we went down 2 kcs to listen, and the guy's like, there are these guys on 260 and they're splattering all over us. Well, of course we're splattering all over you. We were on 60 for almost an hour. Right, so just because we see your signal in our bandpass doesn't. Oh gosh, these guys must be important. We're gonna move. Let's move. Let's go to 10 meter and see if we can hear each other. No, that's not what's going to happen. And it's just unbelievable, and that's why DJ, what we're gonna see We're going to see. I've got I think another week or two. We're going to see if QST posts my letter to the editor about that guy saying there was a transmit bandwidth of 3 kilohertz for audio. We will see. My gut tells me they're not going to post it, and then I'm going to have to make a QST YouTube video.
Well, I'm hoping that they do, and then I would still make a YouTube video even after it's published there. So, but it was interesting. I was on the 7222. Yeah, 7222. That's right. Yeah, that's where it was. And Richie was talking about one guy mentioned about the bandwidths and audio and this stuff, and Richard kind of straightened him out a little bit. He had a very good explanation, and I said, Richard, that's a very good explanation. You're right on the money there. I don't think he knew who I was. Dave did. He said hi to me, but I generally don't talk to those guys. I think I only know 1 or 2 of them, but generally they have their own thing going on. So, but I just was listening in, and I heard the one guy make some, not a bad remark, but he was just saying that about the band, narrower band width for audio, you have a stronger signal and get out farther and all this other stuff. And then Richie said, well, it's not for DX and that, it's just for having a QSO, having a RAGCHU. And once you listen to something at 4K wide or wider and hear that fidelity, then you're kind of hooked, and so I kind of gave my 2 cents worth on the same thing. Like first time with the Flex there, and I seen the signal down at 3630. I thought, Jesus, that's wide. What the hell's going on there? And then when I started listening and then widened mine out, I was listening to them guys, and I think I started talking to them, and that's what they said. Widen out. They told me what to do on the Flex there. And I thought, holy smokes, does that ever sound sweet? It becomes addictive. So when you hear somebody pinched up at 2.4 or 2.9, but some guys are 2.4 and 1.9, and that it hurts hurts the ears. So, but anyhow, so yeah, it was an interesting conversation, and again, there's guys that they don't know what their audio sounds like. They don't know that they're splattering. There's guys on, down below here on 80 meters. I sometimes listen to some guys, and a couple of them should know better, but Jesus, you should see the splatter that they're doing. So, but anyhow, that's the way the ball bounces, the A3 KBC. 3 PSN.
Scott, good to hear you, my friend. I'm recording myself real quick. I did a little audio adjustment, and I am 40 over into Pennsylvania SDR. DJ, you were 30 over, and Scott, I'll let you know what you're hitting that with. It's just, we were minding our own business. We, like I said, I could have narrowed up, and they'd still be in the band pass because they needed to be on 258. It didn't matter who was on 257. It didn't matter who was on 259 or 260. They were meeting on 258, and that was going to be it. And they gave every excuse in the book on how we're the bad guy for not getting out of their way. It's just, and we're not going to do it anymore. We're just not going to get out of their way anymore if they're not gentlemen about it. KB2 UKA. Go ahead, Scott.
Good evening, Doug B, 3PSN. Yeah, I was reading a little bit of your text there, and it sounded like some people just don't know any better. And you're hitting me here tonight at roughly about just over the 10 over or so.
All right, Roger. Well, my antenna, I haven't spoken to you, is about 20 feet lower. So it's about 40 feet right now. The center support snapped 2-3 days ago. It's been downpouring here all weekend. So my Dacron rope, I had crappy rope up there holding the center support up. And I believe the squirrels got it. But my Dacron rope, 1,000 feet of it, just got delivered today. So I'll get that center support up, back up. I'm going to raise it back up, DJ. I noticed today it wasn't playing that well for DX. So I know I hit you 30 over. If I only hit you 20 over, DJ, I think we'll have to deal with it. But it's playing real well at this height, Scott. So I was wondering if I was hitting you stronger than normal.
Yeah, you're doing very well. In that last transmission, you were at least you were almost to the 20 over.
VA3 KBC, top of the hour.
Good. KB2 UKA. So yes. So DJ's chart that he sent earlier about the gauge of wire and the length relative to the ohms, the resistance. Oh boy, one of my sound panels is falling off the wall. What do you know? I want to get this thing between 5 and 6 inches spaced. I don't want to waste my time cutting. I need 100 feet of ladder line that I want to build. So if I space every 18 inches, I did the math earlier. I think it's like 60 something spacers I need. So I'm looking for a plastic tubing, and like you said, yeah, 1/2 inch. But I'm afraid, like I'm seeing these ones on Amazon, but I'm afraid they're gonna crack. I don't know the thickness of them.
Oh, I see what you're saying. With being exposed to the sunlight or the weather, you're afraid they're going to crack.
Right. And the PEX stuff is, I'm going to use PEX for when I build a new doublet, because this thing's all duct taped and zip tied together out there right now. I've got True Ladder Line's 14 gauge ladder line connected to a piece of PEX that I have stainless steel bolts going through, where I connect on the top of the bolt, I connect the 2 legs of the dipole, and I on the bottom of the bolt, I connect the ladder line. And I've got strain relief. It's going through the PEX and everything. But I want to build a continuous, clean doublet now that I know it works. This thing was all like band-aided together. So I know it's a long project to build the ladder line. So I want to try to reduce that with having something that's already the right size. Now, the things that Art uses are great, but they're only 4 inches. And that's going to put, what did it say, DJ? 12 gauge, 4 inches. That's almost under 500.
He went around the corner, but I do believe, yeah, that's right. If you're 4 inches, you're down into the 500 mark, yes.
Well, with 12 gauge, yes. Now, I emailed True Ladder Line, and I said, can you custom make me 100 feet of 12 gauge ladder line? Because then I would just solder that very cleanly to the legs, and I would heat shrink it. And he goes, no, 14's the lowest I go. And the reason 14 is the lowest he goes is because he pre-makes those spacers, and they can only accommodate as thick as 14 gauge. They can accommodate 16 and 14. But that's the whole reason why I asked him custom, but I guess he didn't want to do it. And then, so when it's 16 gauge, 4 inches is like 580. When it's 14 gauge, 4 inches is about 550-ish. So that's still good enough. But at 12 gauge, I think you're under 500 at 4 inches. So at 5 inches, I'd be like 560. So anywhere between 5 and 6 inches will be ideal.
Yeah, because 12 gauge has less resistance than the 14, so of course it's going to be a little less than the 14 when you're spacing it the same amount.
Exactly. I also tried to see if I could find BIC, so Bravo India Charlie, pen tubes. Like those would work also.
Yeah, they would. They'd be a little fragile though, because they're not necessarily like a plastic that's got forgiveness in it. They're more of a styrene type plastic.
Well, yeah, I'm not talking. I probably said the wrong thing. I'm not talking about the clear pen, the clear BIC. More, it's a little bit thicker of I guess, an inner diameter. But BIC makes them too.
All right.
You're thinking of the blue pen with the blue cap and a clear tube, right?
Yes, I was actually.
Doug?
Yeah, go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, have you looked at YouTube making 600 ohm ladder line 12 gauge and see all the different videos?
No, I meant to do that. I thought I'd be able to find something on my own. I'm going to look tonight when I'm in bed.
Yeah, there's one that's the Snap one, and I went to the site and I emailed and everything else, and I don't know, something, whatever, the guy's not around anymore, but there's other ones that show how to do it, and if I remember right, I'm trying to remember the guy's call, but they're up on Randy there, Scott, on 1930. Randy there, he has a video, I think on his QRZ page, on how they made it. I think they use 12 gauge or maybe even 10 gauge, but how they make their ladder line, and it's a pretty good video.
That would be the Toad Harbor net.
There we go.
What do I search for them?
I believe you just typed in the Toad Harbor net. You would come up with Randy's call sign, and I forget Randy's call sign. He's on 1930 just about every night.
Interesting. Okay, I think there's a station in there, but he's very light on me. You guys want to try? Station, give your call.
I don't have a call sign. My amplifier wasn't on. Sorry.
Ah, there you are, Rick. How you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm about to start a net up 1KC. Could you guys move?
Well, you know what? That would have been more courteous than we got this morning. I might tell you, yeah, we will move for you, Rick.
Dude, we had it happen. I just had the same crap happen to me here a while back, and they were polite about it. So I did, we did move, but I heard you for a bit, and I heard what they did. And, if they're going to be assholes like that, nope, I'm planting right there, and I'm going to tell.
Yep, that's what we did. Me, Art, and Paul. And boy, Paul let him have it.
Hello, Rick.
Good evening.
Hello, Rick.
1098, hello for the listening, but...
So I'm going to make some flex weave 12 gauge ladder line, Rick, to replace my my duct taped and band-aided setup out there. And I'm trying to figure out, I don't want to cut spacers, but DJ showed me a chart today that the lower in gauge you go, the further apart you got to be. So my 14 gauge out there is about 4 inches, and that's like 570 ohms. But at 12 gauge, 4 inches is under 500. So I want to get something 5 to 6. I'm just trying to think what I could buy that's already pre-cut.
Okay, look at the signal there. I posted the link to the Toad Harbor feed line.
Real quick, make sure I got it here. When I made mine, I just used oh God, what the hell they call it? Irrigation, like you put sprinklers in your yard. That half-inch black PVC stuff. I just cut it, drill a hole in the end, take a pair of cutters, cut a slot in it, snap the wire in it. You're good to go. That's what all my wire's made out of.
Yeah, and I was trying to avoid having to sit there and cut it. But that might be what I have to do. So yeah, that's what true lateral. So you drill a hole through it and just snip the end, and then just slide the wire through the slip into the hole, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what my whole entire Opie wire on this antenna is made that way, and it worked out just fine. It is about 6 inches.
Yep, and that's 12 gauge?
Yes.
Yeah, so right now I have 14 gauge ladder line. I have 12 gauge dipole legs. I've got it. I was telling Scott and DJ, I've got it. I've got a bolt. I've got 2 bolts going through like that sprinkler line stuff at the apex. And I've got the legs bolted to one side and the ladder line bolted to the bottom. And it works. It works fine. But this is before I knew the antenna would work well. And so now that I know it works well, I want to build something a little more unified and permanent.
Oh, I know. Well, that's exactly the same way I was with this one. I wasn't sure. I've had terrible luck with open wire line over the years, and all this audio gear to get RF into it. I've got it stopped on this setup, but I thought I'm gonna play with it again and try it, and so far it's still working.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, the last antenna I was running was a vertical with a tuner at the base of the antenna, remote. And I had RFI issues at that QTH. I got rid of them for the most part, but it took a while. I lucked out here. I don't know. I guess it's just because it's so damn far away from the shack, and I'm using the twin coax to get into the shack, and I have no issue.
Yeah, I've got a single going out to a 4-to-1 right outside the house, and then it goes from there out. But part of this thing overhangs the other opposite side of my house from where I'm at, so there's just no way around it. It's a 160 doublet. There's just no way. I lost a good tree that it was in and had to move the west end of it a little bit north, and it put it over the house, so I really didn't have much choice. But I don't ground anything. I refuse, after my lightning hit, I refuse to provide a path to ground through anything in here anymore, ever. It'll never happen again. That's a long story, and I'm not going to get into it, how much that hit destroyed, but there will never be anything grounded in here again, so that does pose problems on audio gear.
Yeah, I have nothing grounded in here. The only thing I have going on in here is I have a dedicated 120 panel just for the shack, and I have a dedicated 240. So I make sure, and then I use filtered surge protectors for audio. So all my audio stuff, all the computers plug into that one. And that all goes to that main 120 outlet. And then everything else goes to another plug on that 120. And then I've got the amp on the 240. So I'm just worried about ground loops, so I did that. So everything's getting the same, it's going to ground the same way through the electrical. And the only ground I have is I have a lightning arrestor at the junction box where the ladder line is. That's it. And that's away from, and there's a ground rod there. That's just a static buildup though.
Yeah, same thing. I've got a static arrestor built in right at the bowel end, and that's it. But I've got a dedicated 60 amp sub panel in this room with a disconnect on it. So if I pull the disconnect, it kills all three lines. It's all the neutral and both phases. So everything in here is completely isolated. There's not one single piece of equipment in here plugged into an outlet in this room. It's part of the house wiring.
The only issue I have is because I'm doing the twin coax and I treat it like ladder line, the way it's connected to the balance tuner, I don't have a quick disconnect. So I've found myself where in the past, if it was a rainy, humid night like it is here on Long Island right now, it's 50 degrees and foggy. There's no lightning in the forecast, but it could pop up at any time. I probably would just unscrew my coax. Now I find myself doing it less because it's a 5-minute job instead of a 5-second job. So I think in the garage, I got to cut the coax and put a Frankenstein switch. That's probably the best thing to do.
Yeah, DJ, you don't have any disconnects on yours, do you?
No, I have to go out to the post because of the ballon, so I can just easily unscrew the coax, the PL259 there at the bottom of the post, or at the bottom of the end of the 4-to-1 ballon. And then on my other, with the beam, I have Array Solutions, one of those little arresters on a ground rod there. So I just have to unscrew the barrel connector there to PL259 from it, and I just hang it down to the ground. So that's all I do for both. So it's very, very easy. Now in the house, in the shack here, I have a copper plate.
3 PSN.
Scott, good to hear you, my friend. I'm recording myself real quick. I did a little audio adjustment, and I am 40 over into Pennsylvania SDR. DJ, you were 30 over.
No, It's funny right now because all the crap that I used to have coming in here, I've got one piece of 7/8 and 2 coaxes coming in the shack right now, and that's it. That's all I got. It takes me about 35 or 40 seconds to unhook everything.
Yeah, well, I got to figure something out because that's the best way to prevent damage is to make sure there's no friggin' line to your equipment. And right now, I'm hard bolted in.
That's what I got. Because before the way I had to get the step ladder up to reach up there to unhook the coax from the 4-to-1 Ballon. And now I've got it, so it's more convenient. I can just go out there and right at ground level, just pretty well at my stomach level. So I just bend down and unscrew it, and I'm done.
It sucks too because my grounding system is all still intact out there. I mean, when it blew the copper strap off the tower, and also to the grounding plate in here when that happened. But all those ground rods and all that mesh and all that entire system is still intact out there. I can't do it. I just can't. That is a miracle. It didn't burn my house down when that happened.
Did it destroyed everything in the shack? Did it? And did it destroy stuff in the other rooms of the house?
I'll make it quick, Doug. Not one single thing in my house that had a cord on it or was hooked to AC survived that lightning hit. It welded the thrust bearing together on the tower. It blew 2-inch or 1.75-inch copper strap apart that came off the tower there's 6 ground rods out there spaced apart with hand welded 4-gauge solid perimeter mesh around the house. The mains are bonded. There was a copper bus bar in here with poly phasers on it with all the feed lines. Blew those apart. There's still drywall, dents in the drywall to this day from where that blew up. Blew the sides out of 2 pieces of 7/8 LDF. But yeah, not one single thing in this house, and I'm talking light bulbs, just it destroyed everything in my house.
Wow. Holy crap. Now, you're saying even if your coax was disconnected because of the ground, you probably would have had the same result?
I may not have, probably, but here again, there was so much bonding involved. It just, everything was bonded to everything else. So once it got down there, like I said, it was a big enough hit. Like I said, I got a crank-up, or had a crank-up tower. I still have it. It's just not up right now. I had trouble getting it loose. But yeah, it completely welded that thrust bearing at the top. It wouldn't even turn. But I said, there was 1.75-inch by 40 thousandths copper strap coming off of that tower to that grounding system, and also in here. And I'm serious, it blew it apart like a fuse.
Wow, unbelievable. And another question: did your insurance company know you had a tower?
Yes, they did, and it was a $130,000 insurance claim in 2001. So picture that in today's money.
Wow. Did they give you a hard time at all because of the tower, or they knew it and they had to pay?
No, they actually didn't. They refused to fix a couple of pieces of my test equipment because they were considered commercial use only. But no, they actually allowed me to fix things and build them for them because I told them, I said, some of this stuff's custom built. I said, I've designed and built some of this equipment. Some of it's modified, blah, blah, blah. And my insurance agent knew me personally and was out here and knew this, and they saw it. And they're like, oh my God, I don't even know where to start. And I said, well, here's the deal. I do a lot, the equipment part of it in here I'll take care of. The rest of it, I'll get contractors in here to deal with the electrical and that kind of stuff. But no, they were actually pretty good about it. My service monitor, my spectrum analyzer, they would not fix. That service monitor was $13,000 new. That did kind of hurt a little bit.
Oh yeah. Did you have to have the whole house rewired?
Some of it, not all of it. I'm sure there's probably still damage someplace, but every outlet, pretty much, most of the switches, and I've since switched them anyway because I switched over to rockers here a few years ago. Service panel had to be replaced. Obviously, the electrical meter had to be replaced because it was a smart meter. It blew it up. There's a lot of wiring in here still intact. There was a handful right in this room that had to be redone because it just arced so bad at the outlets that there was nothing left of it.
Wow, it's scary shit. It really, really is. I remember DJ got hit and Frank and George. Well, who got hit first, DJ? You or Frank?
Frank got hit worse than I did. His glasses that were on his desk got arc marks on them, and a week later is when I got hit. But mine I think just came through the coax, and it was just a surge of some sort. So mine wasn't really as bad as his anon was toast. Mine was fixable. My AT2KD, power of the meter, had to replace. Computer was toast. The other one, the network card, I replaced. And the Yaesu rotor control box was on high all the time. It was variable speed, but you couldn't do anything with it. Allstate was really good. If I knew then what I know now, I would have approached it a little bit differently. But it turned out okay. I was lucky with that I didn't have to replace the radio. If I had to replace the radio, then I would have been screwed. But it worked out okay.
Yeah, it's just scary stuff. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, guys. Well, Rick, good to hear you. Scott, DJ, good to speak with you as usual. I'm gonna go wind down. I'm gonna go to the gym tomorrow. I've been off of it for 2 months. I'm going back. I get up at 5:30. I get to the gym around. I get up at 5. I get to the gym around 5:50. I work out till 6:30. I go in the sauna. I take a shower. I get dressed, and I'm at my office by 7 a.m. And I usually feel better after the second day. Tomorrow will be rough, but that's what I'm doing tomorrow. So I'll say 73 to you guys. DJ, I'm going to go watch this video. I'm assuming he tells you what those spacers are, right?
I looked at it and they didn't, but I know they talked about it before. So, and I think they got them from TSC. Scott, can you verify that? Aren't those the spacers that they use for fencing and that?
I think so.
Well, those are the ones I had ordered, and they only make them 4 inches.
Then do what? Get PVC or waterline pipe.
Yep, I guess that'll be phase 1 of the project. Cutting the pipe. Oh boy, cutting and drilling and nipping. We'll figure it out. All right, guys, 73. Have a beautiful week. I'll talk to you tomorrow. KB2, UK clear.
Got Doug.
73 sec. Hey, Doug, check. I just posted a picture on Signal for push on to PL259. You might want to entertain it.
And Doug.
Yeah, I have to look at this, Scott, because remember, my shield is to ground. I'm just using the center conductor, but I might be able to do that with this.
And you can make your own spacers, but how he attaches it is very simple, and that's the way I would do it. And I think maybe that's how Art does it. But you watch that, then you'll understand. You can make your own spacers, whatever length you want, and then use the tie straps. And when you see how he does it, it's very simple.
Yep, and that is how Art does it. It looks like a good way to do it. If I'm going to do it that way, then I don't need to drill and snip the end of the tubing. All right, I'll figure it out. So anyway, I'm gonna get the rope over the 80-foot tree one day this week. I'm gonna pull my center up, and then over the winter I'm gonna build the new antenna, and I'll go out there once it's done. I'm gonna take my time. There's no rush. I've got a working antenna. 73 guys, KB2 UKA.
73, Doug.
7.
Yeah, see you, Doug. Take care and enjoy. God, I wish you guys didn't use that damn Signal crap. I'd like to see that. But, and by the way, DJ, have you priced zip ties lately?
Yeah, I went through a bunch of them with this no fence here for the chickens, so I got them at Prout's Lumber in town here, and yeah, they, Rick, no matter what it is, everything's tripled in price.
Oh, I know. God, they're horrible, and I use a crap ton of them too. So when you guys said you about zip tying it to the space, I thought, oh God, you'd have more money in zip ties than you would anything else.
Pretty much. So do you know about the app Signal?
Yeah, I do know about it, but it won't run on a Windows box by itself, and I'm not putting it crap on my phone because I can't stand to be on my phone.
I'm still here. I run it on Windows.
Phone, then you can put it on your desktop.
Yeah, I'm picky about that, DJ. I've said, and it works good on iPhone, but it's not as good on Android.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know, but it's what the police here in Ontario use because it's secure.
Oh, I know. I'm gonna refill my great beverage here real quick. I'll be right back in 9 each.
All right, guys. Have a great night. Take care. Have a beautiful week. I'm out.